Once I've done that, I have some things here in the bowl. You can add, I always like to use nuts on my tea ring. You don't have to have nuts, but I just particularly like them. And these are just some pecans. They're not toasted. They're just some pecans that I've chopped up to put on my tea ring. I have some fresh dates. I do like to use the ones that are marjoule dates if you'd like. You can also get the kind that are cut up and pre-sugared. They work okay. They're a little bit dry for this, but marjoule, and then I cut them up with scissors that have been sprayed with cooking spray. I use kitchen shears, and sprayed them with cooking, like Pam, and then cut them up. I have a few golden raisins here, and I sprinkle those over. I have a few dried cranberries here, just for added, and I like the color of them. And then I just have some plain raisins too that I'm going to add. Okay, got it all on here. I don't have the nut and the fruit at the edges because when I roll it up, it kind of tends to push the fruit, forward. We're going to start at this end and roll it up, just like you would do for perhaps cinnamon rolls if you've ever made those. And just going to roll this all the way up. Be sure and tuck that back in to the end. Pull it around, and then the seams that are left, be sure and tuck those in and kind of press with your fingers so that they are just kind of meshed together there. Then I'm going to try to get it in kind of the same width here. And then the next point, we'll be putting them in the pan. Okay, now I've got my pan, and this is just a baking dish that I'm using. You can use a cake pan. I'm using this particular one because it's a little bit smaller than my 9-inch cake pans. And I made, since I'm doing 3 tea rings out of this dough, I just needed to use a little bit smaller pan than my 9-inch cake pans. I've sprayed it liberally with canola spray, Pam spray, whatever you want to use. And now I'm going to be placing the tea ring that we rolled up into the pan itself. The important thing is to be sure and put the seam side down in the pan when you take the tea ring over to the pan itself. It needs to be seam side up. If you had it seam side up, it would just fall apart. This particular one came in really nicely, actually, because the thickness of all of it seems to be about the same. So you can see it's nicely in the pan, in the middle of the pan. It's not to the sides. And the reason for that is we're going to cut it and lay it to the side, and then we'll have it rise again. So now I'm going to cut it. You go down and you kind of do it at an angle, and you're going about 3/4 of the way through onto the ring itself. Not all the way through, definitely not all the way through. Once you get it cut, you're going to lay the ring out. What I mean by that, you're just going to flatten it out here, and it will then go to the sides a little bit. Once it rises, it will kind of fill up the pan to the sides. I'm going to add a couple of dates where we joined it together. I just want it to look as pretty as the rest of it. All right, now you see it's in the pan. It's ready to go. We're going to go ahead and put some plastic wrap over the top like we did when we were doing the yeast dough and let it rise for about 45 minutes to an hour. Here we are again. The tea rings have now risen, and we're going to place them in a 375 degrees preheated oven where they'll cook for anywhere from 15 to 25 minutes. I know that sounds kind of arbitrary, but you'll need to watch them. I usually start them on the top rack, maybe rotate them to the bottom. I want to make sure the bottoms get brown and the tops. So we'll watch those, and I'm going to put them in the oven now. The tea ring is now ready. It's brown on the top and I believe brown on the bottom. We'll see once I turn it over. I take a cooling rack and I place it over the pan that it's in. And voila. Put it upside down. Yes, it browned nicely, maybe a little bit too brown on one edge, so I probably did it a little bit long. To make the icing, just simply take 1 cup of powdered sugar, and I always sift it because I don't want there to be lumps in it. Then we're going to put in 1 tablespoon of condensed, not sweetened condensed, just regular carnation or whatever, evaporated condensed milk. I know it seems weird, but it just seems to work better for this particular icing. 1 tablespoon, and then a 1/2 teaspoon of pure vanilla. Please don't use anything but pure vanilla. It just doesn't work very well. Now I'm simply mixing that up with a, what is this called? I'm simply mixing this up with a whisk. Little brain fade there. I want it to be where I can stream it over the tea rings, and this looks like it's pretty good. Sometimes I have to add a little bit more of the milk to get it the right consistency. But it's streaming nicely. So I will show you how to decorate one now. Okay, now we're going to take the icing that we made, and using a fork, we drizzle it across the finished tea ring. Just put a little bit on there the first time, because what we're going to do is decorate it now. And we're going to use pecan halves, which I've picked out some nice ones beforehand, because I'm usually doing, like I said, 19 to 20 of these at a time. Today I only made 6. Then I use this candied fruit, which is quite awful. I don't really care for it, but it makes for a great decoration, especially for the holidays. I use green and red, obviously. I take my trusty kitchen shears again. I cut a little piece of it, and then I put it on the tea ring, and then I add some green that I've already cut up over here. And so it gives it that little green and red holiday spirit. And I only put 3 of them on. I put 3 pecan halves, and then I put 3 of these on it. Just a little bit of decoration is all it needs. And like I said, I do it all beforehand, so I have it ready so I can do kind of a production with these. Okay, then I take the same icing and go back over it, this time making sure that I get over the pecans and the little candied fruit so that they kind of stick to the tea ring. This tea ring got a little bit brown on the edges, so I'm going to add a little bit more icing than I usually do, kind of around the edges. That kind of hides the fact that it was a little bit brown. Probably will not give this one to somebody. We'll end up eating it ourselves. Okay, in just a few moments I'm going to show you how to decorate this and to hand out as gifts. Now remember how we said to make the cross of the foil? It's because when we put it together as a gift or to put it in the freezer, we want to make sure that it's nice and sealed up. So this tea ring has cooled. It's completely cool. It's not warm at all. You don't want to do this while the tea ring is warm because it'll cause condensation and it won't be good. So you simply take the pieces of foil together, roll them down, tuck them in, and then the other piece, the same thing. I like to tuck them in to make it look like it's round because I like the fact that, you tell people that it's a tea ring and, it should be round. Then I simply take some nice ribbon. I like to use the kind that has a little bit of the wire in it. It's just easier to make a nice bow. And I just simply make a nice bow for it. I also, when I do this, of course, I don't put the bow in before. Well, my kitchen shears are not working so well to cut this particular ribbon. I probably use just a good pair of scissors for that. I put the bow on it, and then I actually put a tag on there, and I tell the people, if it's frozen, go ahead and thaw the tea ring before you put it in the oven, but you will want to reheat it at about 325 for 15 to 20 minutes. And I put that on the tag. Sometimes we even pre-print the tags on some of the, like a return address label or something, so that it's stuck onto the foil itself. And as you can see, makes for quite a nice little gift. I hope you have enjoyed I hope you've enjoyed all of this. It's been a labor of love for me today and my husband, but it is a wonderful way to celebrate Christmas, and what a fun way to give a homemade gift that you've made yourself and taken some time to do so. And again, like I said, do quite a few of them ahead of time and put them in the freezer, and then take them out, put the bow on them, and then just give them as gifts. So thanks again for joining us here at the Lark Inn at the holiday season. And I hope that you enjoy your tea rings and the people that you're giving them to. It's such a wonderful tradition to have. And please enjoy and join us next time. Thanks again.